Hi everyone, really important announcement to make. Just as I was about to publish this video, Wargaming found a bug with the mantlet on the Object 452K, and so they have postponed the assembly shop till tomorrow, which will be the 23rd of February instead. However, as I've already recorded this video with the intent of being able to let you know the ins and outs of when the event starts, and which resources I recommend that you spend on it, I hope you'll forgive me that I'm not going to re-record the entire video, but please take into account that whenever I say 22nd of February, it will actually be the 23rd, and the times are staying the same for the EU, the NA, and the Asia server, with Asia being in the middle of the day, UTC, EU being 5 p.m, and for America, that's going to be 1 a.m. in theory on Saturday morning, but I explained the local times. And with that all said and done, take it away, Uncle Scrubs. Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today is the day that the assembly shop for the Object 452K comes out, and I've already made my tank review on this vehicle yesterday, but I haven't covered exactly how it's going to work, what currencies I think is the best bang for buck to spend if you want to get this tank, and also how many are available on the EU, NA, and Asia server, and what time the assembly shop actually begins, because you're going to want to be there if you want to get one of the limited numbers of styles that are available with the numbering attached. So firstly, let's talk about the number that are available. Last assembly shop was the Kampfpanzer, and there were 75,000 available on the European server, 25,000 with the style and 50,000 without the style. This time there are going to be 80,000 available on the European server, and interestingly, 40,000 are going to come with the style and 40,000 are going to come without the style. That's interesting, as previously only a third of the tanks came with a style. Now they're going to be half, and this is the same for the other two servers as well, NA and Asia. Previously there were 15,000 available on NA, now there's only 10,000. There's 12,000 previously available on Asia, and now there are only going to be 10,000 there as well. So this might put a squeeze on the amount that are available, so I'd recommend to get in early if you are planning on getting one. But once again, please check out my full tank review yesterday if you want to know whether this one is the new best tier 10 heavy. NA and Asia run the same way as they do EU, whereas previously only a third of the tanks came with styles. For the Kampfpanzer, now half of them are going to come with styles. So even though they've reduced the amount of tanks that are available on the NA server by a third, the same amount of styles are available. So time-wise, the auction is going to happen today at Greenwich Mean Time, or UTC, which will be very soon after this video comes out. So if you're on the Asia server and you want to get one with a style, you better be ready inside your garage with the amount of currency that I'm going to talk about shortly. For the European server, it's happening at 5 o'clock UK time. That will be 6 o'clock Central European time. And for the US, it's happening at 1 a.m. UTC, which is going to be 8 p.m. on the East Coast and 5 p.m. on the West Coast, local time on Thursday, the 22nd of February, aka today. So now I want to talk about what currency is best to spend if you want to get the Object 452K. What you have to do is you have to fill a resource bar to 100%, spending things like free experience, gold, credits, blueprints, or bonds. Now, you can put any number of different kinds of currencies. You can mix and match if you want, but really this isn't the most efficient way to do it. To be able to make 1% progress, you'll need 10,000 free experience, 550 gold, 500 bonds, 20 universal blueprints, 32 national blueprints, or 1.25 million credits. Now, if you were thinking, oh wow, I've got loads of blueprints, I'm just going to be able to fill the whole bar with those, that is not a possibility. The max amount of universal blueprints that you can use is 14%, and the max amount of national fragments that you can use is 22, meaning that if you were to have a lot of those, you could make 36% progress without actually spending any of your other currencies. For all of the others, you can actually spend 100% of your free experience, your gold, bonds, or credits, but that starts to make things get pretty scary. The free experience price tag will be 1 million. 100% with gold will be 55,000 gold, or 50,000 bonds, or 125 million credits. So now let me talk about which of these is probably the best to do. So immediately, let's talk about free experience. What is 1 million free experience inside World of Tanks? Well, if you convert it at the worst possible rate, when you're getting 25 free experience for every gold that you spend to convert it, that is going to cost you 40,000 gold. However, if you do it when the best rate is happening, when you're getting 40 free experience for each gold, then it's going to cost you 25,000 gold. Now, that means that this will cost at most £112 currently with exchange rates amount of currency to be able to convert 1 million free experience. But let me clarify, you'll have to grind to get that 1 million free experience to then be able to convert it off. So also factor in the amount of time that it would take you to get a 1 million free experience if you weren't getting it naturally. This is why I've been saying over the last couple of years that if you are a huge whale inside World of Tanks, you want to have 1 million free experience saved up so that you're ready for the assembly shop that's coming every 6 months. But just because you have the free experience doesn't mean that you should spend it. And I thoroughly recommend you go and watch my full tank review from yesterday if you want to know how competitive or how fun this tank is going to be. So alarm bells should be ringing for all of you out there when you're looking at these numbers. Should you spend 55,000 gold, or should you convert free experience even at the worst possible rate and then get 1 million free experience with 40,000 gold, or hopefully, if you've been converting at the best rate, 25,000 gold is way better than the 55,000 gold price tag that you would have to pay right now. In fact, if you were to pay that 55,000 price tag, this thing is going to cost about £150, which is just absolutely ridiculous for any vehicle or any purchase inside a video game. So if any of you out there watched the tank review from yesterday and you must have the Object 452K, please don't just spend gold alone. If you have the experience that you can convert off, it is far better to convert that experience off and to use that instead. The next option is that you could spend bonds to be able to fill up this bar. It would cost you 50,000 bonds to be able to get the Object 452K. Now, what can you do with 50,000 bonds in World of Tanks? Well, you could either get yourself 10 pieces of bond equipment, so that would be enough to set up 3 entire tanks with a really sweaty form. You could make your 3 best premiums God tier tanks with bond equipment, or you could take your 3 best tier 10 tanks and pump them up, maybe if you want to play Onslaught instead. You could also, if you don't like buying bond equipment for 50,000 bonds, buy an AMX 50 Foch 155, a KV5, a 121B, and an M60 for the price of a single Object 452K. And I can tell you which deal I think would be best within that regard. I'd definitely take the bundle of tanks rather than get one single vehicle where it's just a Soviet heavy. The next option is maxing out your universal blueprints. Now, it will take you 280 universal blueprints to be able to get a 14% discount, so to say, on the vehicle. And if you have them, I would recommend to do this. This is a lot better than having to dump in free experience unless you're grinding it naturally because you don't have anything left to spend it on inside World of Tanks. And it is far, 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 far better to spend the blueprints, which you can get from events or doing daily mission completions, than it would be to spend the bonds or the gold. And the same can be said for the national fragments. It will take you 704, and this is distributed over all of the different nations. You can't take all Soviet national fragments, for example. You'll have to take a selection of each. And again, if you do have them, I would recommend spending them. It's far better to get a very meaty discount using blueprints than it will be to spend pure gold or bonds, or arguably even free experience that you could just spend on skipping modules and make the grind up the line better than kind of skipping elite tanks, which is what blueprints are used for. So next, let's talk about credits. It will cost you 125 million credits to be able to get this vehicle. Now, let me clarify something immediately. There is the ability inside World of Tanks to convert your gold into credits. Now, if you convert gold into credits, you're getting 400 credits, I believe, for every gold that you spend. That will mean that the gold price of, if you were to convert gold into credits and then use those to be able to purchase the tank, would be 315,000 gold, which would be some astronomical sum, more like £1,000 you'd be spending to be able to get this tank. And so if you're someone who has ever converted credits using gold, definitely one of the worst ways to spend your money inside World of Tanks. It's outrageous. I would thoroughly not recommend to do this. The other thing that I would like to say is that just because you have credits doesn't mean that they don't have value or that they're not easy to come by. Just because right now in front line you have access to credit boosters and you're chonking your way through them, doesn't mean that you should dump them on the tank. When we think about what previous credit auctions have gone for, you could have got, for example, the Monkey King for, I think, less than 30 million credits. This is 4 times the price of most tier 10 credit auctions, and over 50% more than even a whale like me spent on the very first tier 10 credit auction, the T22 medium. I would thoroughly not recommend spending credits on this unless you're someone who is very happy to just grind tier 8 premiums or tier 9 premiums all day and you've got nothing else to spend your credits on. So now we come to the conclusion, what I believe is the ideal way to get the Object 452K if you want to be able to purchase it after you've watched my tank review yesterday. You want to spend 704 national fragments, 280 universal fragments, and then you will need 640,000 free experience in addition to this. This will be the cheapest and the best way to be able to get the Object 452K. And if you think about, if you do have the blueprints lying around and you were to convert at the best possible rate, which will be 40 to 1, then this would end up costing you 16,000 gold, which is not a bad price for a tier 10 vehicle that will undoubtedly be rare. But it's still quite a lot of money. And also keep in mind that you'll have to grind that 640,000 experience to be able to convert off, even with the 16,000 gold that you would have to spend. I'd also like to add the caveat that the styles with the unique numbers do go very quickly, usually within the first 3 to 5 minutes. Now that is more than enough time to go and click, 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 click to be able to add the blueprints. You'll have to click, 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 inside the garage to be able to fill up the bar. And you should be able to make it, but with the way that the numbers are distributed, it's going to take you a lot longer to be able to get a lower number. And so if you are super into just trying to get the best number possible, then blueprints aren't really going to be an option for you. You're going to have to spend one of the individual currencies because it takes far too long to fill out all of the blueprints for the national fragments and the universal fragments than it takes to just dump all of it into one, which would ideally be free experience. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. That was my ultimate guide to the Object 452K as to how to get it as cheaply as possible. But I'd like to stress that even if you were to do it at the best possible price, which will be 25,000 gold during Wargaming's biggest free experience discounts at 40 to 1, this is still like spending £80 to be able to get a single tank inside a video game. I truly think that this is an event for the whales that have everything and manage to naturally grind themselves a million free experience every 6 months, and not really suited towards players who are actively grinding their way up lines and have still got tanks to collect. Anyway, that's it for today. Good luck to you if you want to be able to get one of these tanks with the styles. You got the times here in UTC. And once again, I'd like to highlight, if you're sitting on the fence, go and watch my tank review on this vehicle. That was released yesterday. Anyway, that's it for today, ladies and gents. Hope you enjoyed the video and it was useful. If it was, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And let me know whether you're going to be purchasing the Object 452K in the comments down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic and hopefully I'll see you soon.